Hey, Dan Fitzpatrick here. Look, we're having a Black Friday sale, which is what we always do around Thanksgiving. We are discounting our short selling seminar pretty extensively, like 40% off of the member price, 750 bucks off of the non-member price. You know, I always ask Gary, like, why do we call it Black Friday? Because it should be Green Friday. But let me talk a little bit about the short selling seminar. And this is kind of off the top of my head, although I do have some testimonials that I want to read to you. This is a really good product. If you are not shorting stocks, I'm not going to say you're missing out on half of the market because you're really not. Stocks have been going up for a long, long time, but every so often there's a big correction. And if you've been through the last correction in October, you know what I'm talking about. You're comfortably long all these stocks. It's like, oh, it's marvelous. Golly gee, I'm such a smart trader. How could I be smarter than I am right now? I mean, it's a burden being a genius. It's a real burden being a genius when you're making so much money. Then comes the big correction, and it lasts longer than you think it's going to last because it looks just like the last little pullback, kinda, but not really. It's a bigger correction. It wipes out a lot of your profits, hopefully not all of your profits, because if you've been long for a while, you've got good profits, but it kills you when the market pulls back, when it rolls over in a big way. It goes faster than you thought and farther than you thought to where you've got max pain. And I know some of you that are watching this have experienced this. I saw you in the forum. Right when the market is about ready to bounce, you're selling because you just can't take it anymore. You can't take the pain. You're losing too much money. And you say, you know what, I got to jettison everything. I just can't take it anymore. Well, it's you and millions of other people who do the same thing. All that selling happens at the same time. We get a heck of a bounce. What are you left with? Less cash than you had before. Fear of getting back into the market because you just lost so much money. You just have this sense of non-belief. And then finally the market moves up enough and you're so, I'll say it, pissed off at yourself that you wind up putting a bunch of money to work all at the same time. Right about the time that that initial rally tapers off, the market starts rolling over again a little bit more. And the bottom line is you were just totally out of sync with the market. And here's the reason why you were out of sync with the market, because you didn't understand the short side. You don't have to short, but you darn well better know how to short, because if you know how to short, think about it. We're looking at specific trading setups. We're looking at market setups. We're trying to find the ideal time to short stocks, okay? Isn't that also the ideal time to be selling your stocks, to be closing out positions, to be raising your stops? Because nothing's guaranteed. You're never going to look at a chart. You're never going to look at a potential short and say, I'm 100% sure that that short's going to work. You're just not. It's always probabilities. It's always speculation. They call this trading. They don't call it winning. So you never quite know when these opportunities are going to happen, but you can see the setups. You can see the setups. And those same short setups are the setups for you to be getting out of your stocks or at least minimizing your exposure. You never have to short stocks. Hopefully you will, because you're going to make a lot of money. But you don't have to short stocks, but you at least need to understand. Let me go through. I want to read this one testimonial I got. This is from a member who attended our original workshop. As always, Dan did a superb job. Thank you very much. Even though I doubt I will short stocks, the seminar content is extremely helpful in making trading choices. My trading results are finally improving thanks to you for your dedication and passion. Okay, this is from somebody who plans on never shorting stocks, and this person found a lot of value in this material. Why? Because he gets it. He gets that knowing how to short stocks also means knowing when to sell. Every broker, every newsletter, seems like every source of trading information, all they do is tell you to buy. Do you know why? Because typically when you're buying a stock and it's working, the best thing to do is just let it keep going. So they never tell you how to sell. When the stock rolls over and you lose a bunch of money, they say, golly gee, our stocks let us down. I've seen this crap out there. That's what you get. What you got to do is take advantage of this material. And not just this material, but frankly, all of the material. I'm morphing into a different deal here. All of the material that you get from Stock Market Mentor, Option Market Mentor if you want to do options, but let's talk about Stock Market Mentor. You need to get there too. Here's another one. One word, excellent. I think it's safe to say that Dan, Gary, and Karen and the rest of the team put a lot of time and effort into this, and it was informative, enjoyable. Breaks were timed perfectly. You can take your own break whenever you want because you just have to press pause. And just the overall great learning experience. Dan is a great teacher / mentor. And here's the point that I want to make here. And I'd like to add that had it not been for Stock Market Mentor, there's no question I would be out of the market by now. So this is material that you need. Your shorting material is material that you need. I want you to take advantage of both sides of the market. And think about this. Again, if you don't understand how to short stocks, understand the setups, understand the signs, all of this stuff. If two things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to give back a lot of money when you really didn't need to. That hurts when you have a nice trade going. Trade starts pulling back as it's done 19 times before, and each time it bounces. This time looks a little different, but you're thinking, hey, 19 in a row, let's go for number 20. And then you give back a lot of profit. So that hurts. It costs you money. Also, at the same time that you're losing money on your existing trades, you are also not making money on the trades that you could have made. So it's kind of like a double whammy here. Again, 40% off, and I want you to think about this. What's the price of this thing? What are we selling this thing for? 450 bucks, something like that. Think, as you can see, I have a lot of well-prepared notes here. I'm just talking to you. 450 bucks. I don't know what size portfolio you're trading, but unless you're trading, say, a $500 portfolio, this 450 bucks is peanuts to you. And here's why. When's the last time you've lost over 450 bucks when the market did something that you look back at it and say, you know, crap, I should have done this. But you didn't do it because you didn't see. When's the last shorting opportunity that you didn't see at the time, but later you look back and say, you know what, that was a textbook short. And by the way, you don't short stocks that are just going down lower and lower and lower. That's the time when you're making money. The shorting opportunities are actually few and far between. I mean, when you actually enter the trade. Those are few and far between. Now, once a stock is falling, you go ahead and short the stock. Hopefully, you're going to make money. But here's what you need to know too. The further down a stock falls, the better value it is. Okay, the PE drops. At some point, that stock that was overpriced is going to become underpriced. It's going to be at a price where good traders, where money managers are going to say, you know what? I didn't like Amazon when it was at such and such a price because it's really expensive. But now that it's dropped, I don't know, 20, 30%, wherever Amazon's dropped to, they might say, you know what? I like this stock right here. So what have you done? You've kind of lost the opportunity if you didn't see the stock turn. And by the way, it was actually pretty obvious. You've lost money on the downside. And then finally, you say, wow, this stock's going lower. I'm going to go ahead and short the stock. What happens? Who are you selling the stock to? Big money managers, smart money, who is actually buying the stock. You're going to lose money on that short. So I'm going to teach you how to not do that. But think about it. 450 bucks. What's it going to take for you to make this 450 bucks back? Hey, make 500 bucks back. Then you have $50 in your pocket and a free course. The bottom line is, I'm making this easy for you. Why am I doing this right now? I'll tell you why. Because shorting, look at the last market correction in October. The correction lasted about 2 weeks, maybe a little more than that if you're looking at the setup. Most corrections last about 2 or 3 weeks. The problem is you don't have 2 or 3 weeks to get short. You got typically about 2 or 3 days, maybe 4 days, maybe 5 days as the market is setting up. But once the market is in full-blown sell-off mode, remember, we're in a bull market. I'm not talking about learning to short stocks in a bear market, which, by the way, that's tougher than you think. I'm talking about learning to short stocks in a bull market during those rare times, typically maybe 3 or 4 per year, when the whole market rolls over. 3 or 4 times per year, when if you get in early, you're going to make a ton of money. A ton of money. On a daily basis, on a weekly basis, you will see stocks and sectors that are rolling over and that are shortable. Think about this. The market's been in it had a great run. How's oil doing? How are these oil producers doing? Look at the OIH, look at the XOP, look at the XLE. Those things are all in the tank. Do you want to short those now? No, it's too late to short them. Shorting them, the opportunities for that were a long time ago and many dollars ago. Those were great shorts, but they're not now. The point is, you can have shorting opportunities in a bull market every day if you know what to look for. 3 or 4 times a year, you don't even have to know what to look for. Just note the pattern, see where it is, see when it's a high probability short, and just push the sell button. It's that easy. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's not that easy. It's really that hard, and it hurts. So in this course, this is what you're going to get. Let me look over here. Yep. Okay, you get a comprehensive workbook. Okay, in this workbook, this is what you're going to learn. And write this stuff down. It's probably on the sales page too. You're going to get entry, exit, and risk management tactics. I'm going to take you through the whole process. Okay, we're not just talking theory, I'm showing you a lot of charts. Okay, but I'll take you through the whole process. Selection of stocks, setups, exactly what you're looking for. And then after you're in, trade management. This is where a lot of people really struggle. Okay, they don't have proper trade management. Maybe you got a great entry, but now what the heck do you do? So you wind up jettisoning the whole thing at the same time. Maybe when you punch out, you make some money. Probably so, hopefully so if you're using the right entries, but you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Okay, maybe you should have only exited partial position. That's one of the things that I talk about is fractional shorting, not going all in right now, not getting all out right now, but how and why and where to trade fractionally. Take a small position to begin with. That way you're risking just a little amount of money. And then as the trade works in your favor, you increase your position to increase your profits. And then in the same way, you kind of get out a little bit at a time. It sounds real easy, but it's not. It's really not. So I'm going to walk you through that. I'm walking you through all the prerequisites to shorting. A checklist, literally check the boxes. Look, read, write, take notes on all of your trades, but it's literally a check the boxes type thing. I'm giving you the guidelines, everything you need to know for finding the right shorting candidates. There's 7 critical prerequisites. I'm listing them all. 6 aren't enough. 8, I don't know what the 8th one is. 7 is good enough for me. Also, selling versus shorting. And I'm not talking about just selling your profitable positions. There are often times that you will see a stock that it's right to sell. Like, okay, if I owned this stock, I would want to sell this stock. But it wouldn't be a good short. It would just mean that, the profit potential for a while is probably out of the stock, so I want to go ahead and sell it. When's your short setup? Do you know what? There may never be a short setup on that stock that looks weak. Do you know why? 2 words, high base. What I mean by that is there are a lot of stocks that are right to sell and they just wind up trickling sideways for a while before going up again. You'll see shorts get killed on this all the time. Some of the supposedly smartest guys on CNBC or in print, they talk about shorting stocks, and you look at the chart and go, what the heck is this guy looking at? Do you know what he's looking at? Valuation. Oh, it's really expensive. Amazon's never made money since it went public. Look at the chart on that thing since it went public. That stock has rallied for years on the broken backs of a bunch of bears. There was no real opportunity to short that stock until recently. Now the stock is turning out to be a great short. Look, I want to read you some other testimonials. This is what members have said who have attended this course. Let me just pick some here. Okay. I'm very pleased with everything about the short selling strategies. This is my first class on short selling ever. I've only been trading a couple years. Everything I have learned has been from you. Thank you, by the way. I'm flattered and humbled. I always appreciate your straightforward approach in everything, making it easy to understand. Thanks for everything. Wonderful insight. Filled a major gap in my trading experience. I'm an active trader. Okay, see, this is not just for long-term traders who want to short a stock and ride the trend down and stuff like that. This is really for active traders. And if you're not an active trader, learn how to be one. You'll make more money. Okay, back to this. I'm an active trader, but have never shorted before. Now I have the fundamentals and strategy to study and at some point execute when the opportunity arises. Thanks, Dan, and Gary too. Okay, operative terms here. When the opportunity arises. We're getting back to my initial premise for putting this on such a drastic sale on Green Friday. That is, I don't see a lot of opportunities to short stocks right here, right now. And I'm making this video the day before Thanksgiving. I don't see a lot of opportunities to short stocks. The market is just trending sideways. But look at the charts of the S&P last January, which, by the way, it's about a month away. There was a lot of talk in December because we had such a big run last year. There was a lot of talk in December about the market rolling over in January. Everybody's holding on to their winners until after the first of the year. Then they're going to dump them, say they don't have to pay taxes until 2015, right? So that was the deal. That's what was going to happen. So there was a lot of short selling right after the first of the year. And do you know what happened? Market kept going up. By the way, there were no short signals. There's no reason to short the market except that a bunch of guys who are not as smart as they think they are, but now have less money than they used to, they shorted the market because they thought that was the trade. You, if you're learning the right signals, if you see what's really happening, you weren't shorting the market because you weren't listening to that crap, because it doesn't matter. What matters is what you see in the charts. Okay, so you're looking at what's happening. You're not shorting the market. Market's going higher. Market's going higher. First week in January, market's higher. Second week in January, the shorts are kind of freaking out going, this is a problem. This is not the greatest way for me to start my year. So they start covering. What happens? Ultimately, the market rolls over, and it didn't take very long. I mean, we're talking a day or two or three. Look at the chart. You'll see it happened very, very quickly. The market corrected. Everybody who bought the first part of the year was losing money if they stayed in the market because the market rolled over. At some point, the stock stopped going down and bounced. By the way, that's another thing you're learning in this course. When to close your shorts, when to recognize that the market is bouncing or your stock is bouncing. You don't make money by just making the right entry. You make money by riding the in-between. The in-between the entry and the exit. If you don't know when the exit is, you're just kind of being lucky or maybe unlucky. So I want you to learn this material. I want you to learn it now. I want you to learn it now because if you see the market starting to roll over, That's not the time to say, golly gee, I think I'll get Dan's short selling workshop. No, you need to already know the material. So you get this now, you get it at a reduced price, which is going to be no problem for you to make it up. You're going to get this course essentially for free with very little effort on your part. You just have to stick to the rules. Okay, webinar was perfect, another testimonial. The charts we reviewed with Dan were straightforward. Again, I'm not just giving you theory. We're walking through it with many, many charts. Great work. Thank you for all your help. I started trading at a bad time in the market. Dan, you have saved me. Thank you. I have the desire, and you are giving me great tools. Thank you. Excellent seminar. While I initially knew some shorting strategies and techniques, I learned a tremendous amount of new stuff and far more than I had expected. Dan kept it interesting for 5 hours. No easy task. I'm looking forward to getting my DVDs so I can review the material over and over again. So look, from what I've heard, we have literally had no negative feedback on this workshop. All of the feedback, all of the testimonials that we've received have been positive, really positive, which frankly isn't surprising to me because it's my material. And I work my tail off to present this stuff, not just to give you material. You know, any knucklehead with an internet connection can get you a whole bunch of material on how to short stocks. My skill is in learning, testing, trying out, and focusing on the right stocks, the right sectors, the right tactics that work for me, and then not just putting them together, but putting them together in a format that's easy to understand and easy to implement effectively again and again and again. The bottom line is, I am your stock market mentor. That's my role. And so what I'm doing in mentoring you is giving you the tools that you need to succeed in shorting. I want you to take the opportunity to get this at a reduced rate. And I really appreciate you listening or watching this entire video. And have a great Thanksgiving.